Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm talking about the self-help industry. Did you ever wonder why the self-help industry is still very much alive? Ever since the 80s when it exploded. So if there's all these techniques and all these modalities and all these books and all of these ways to help us gain some kind of inner peace or alignment or get back in the flow and not be so reactive and not feel sad, lonely, whatever we're feeling, then why are so many people still chasing the self-help industry? Well, here's my theory. And it actually is time tested because I've used it with my clients, and that's why I wrote a book called The Voiceless Soul. So let me explain. The self-help industry, there were a lot of books out there. There were power seminars. There's all kinds of online downloads, techniques you can use, all promising to help you heal old problems, inner child stuff, doing shadow work, doing this, doing that. And they're all very promising and they all sound wonderful. But here's the problem. Most of those techniques are only reaching the level of your conscious mind, which is your analytical mind. It is where your ego is. It's where your willpower is. And it's where there's a lot of judgment. So if you're only getting to that part of your mind, what about the emotions that you suppressed? What about those parts of you that are trapped in the space and time of an emotional crisis? And what I mean by that is a lot of times we have these wounds, usually from childhood or teenage years. These wounds are from a time we felt not good enough for the world, or we weren't lovable, or a time we didn't feel safe. Maybe we were bullied. Maybe we felt very lonely growing up. And what happens is this part of us is not something that we want to acknowledge. It's not a part of us that we want to hold on to, but we can't really get rid of it because it's a part of us. It's an emotion, it's a feeling, and a lot of it's fear. So what we do is we deny it's actually happening to us and we basically suppress it. So now that it's suppressed, it's being ignored. And then you go on and function. And now you grow up and you become an adult. And something in your adult life starts to feel off balance. So you seek help. So these things that you're seeking are meant to help you heal what's holding you back, what's keeping you limited, what's keeping you with sadness, what's causing reactive behavior like bouts of anger, frustration, problems sleeping. So you want this to be healed. So you reached for some book or some power seminar, or you follow somebody that keeps telling you that you can let this go, you can let yourself heal, you're a beautiful soul, you came here, you are a child of God, no matter what happened to you, you are a divine being. And yes, that's all true. But the problem is you have another part of you that doesn't believe any of that. That's the part of you suppressed. So no matter what you're taking in from the cognitive conscious mind, if there's an unconscious or subconscious thought form and suppressed emotion that's not in agreement with that, you stay stagnant because you're now in conflict. But you don't even know there's a conflict going on. All you know is that you've been chasing this self-help industry and nothing is really giving you that miracle, that true golden nugget that's going to help you be at peace. So what you can do and what you need to do is have a dialogue from your adult mind, your wise self that's grown up, has a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience about life, is very mature and has it together. This part of you needs to have a dialogue with this other part of you that basically didn't grow up. Because whenever we're in an emotional crisis, that part of us stays trapped. It doesn't mature. It can't. It's basically frozen in time. So that other part of us is feeling confused because whatever happened or didn't happen that needed to happen for this part of you to feel loved, safe, like you belong, connected, it went into a state of emotional crisis, which caused confusion. And in that confusion, this part of you remains in its suffering. If you come to this part of you with your wise self, with the love, with the compassion, and talk to this other part of you who is having this crisis on the level of a child mind that hasn't matured, then you can help this part of you heal the confusion, clarify what's really going on there, and bring this part of you what it needs. And then what happens is this part of you starts to feel connected to you instead of pushed away from you. This part of you starts to feel loved and wanted by you. When it feels that way, you can now ask it to come back and grow up with you, to be with you now. So you're basically pulling it out of this trap and you're integrating it back into the whole of who you are that has grown up, that has matured. So if you just keep reading books and chasing, these speakers that keep telling you how great you are, which is true, and know that, just remember there might be a part of you that doesn't feel that way because you rejected this part of you so that you can go on and function in life. And now you don't even know this part of you exists. So it's about going back and having that beautiful, wonderful, healing, loving, compassionate dialogue with this part of you that does feel lonely or does feel unwanted or doesn't feel safe or doesn't feel like she belongs in this world. It's up to you now to reach out to this part of you that is suppressed. Now, the thing is, how do you get to that part of you? So I always think the best thing to do is to really get yourself in a little bit of a trance, like an altered state of consciousness. It's like a light hypnosis or a meditation. And what you're basically doing is your own parts therapy. You're doing your own inner child work. And when you're in that trance, you're relaxing that conscious mind, that analytical mind, that one that's stuck in fear and judgment and ego. Because if you don't relax that, it's going to keep getting in the way and it's going to keep telling you that you're fine just as you are. And it's true, but you're still continuing to ignore another part of you that doesn't feel fine. So let that part relax by simply taking deep breaths in, breathe into your body, connect with your heart, close your eyes. You can count down from 25 to 1. And with each number you count down, just keep saying deeper relaxed, deeper relaxed. So what that does is it relaxes the conscious mind. You're really putting yourself into self-hypnosis. Then ask that part of you that's holding you back, that doesn't feel connected to you, ask it to step forward. And then just say, I'm here to listen to you. And listen to this part of you. And then, with your beautiful, compassionate hearts, reach out and love this part of you with all the love and compassion that you would have for a child. Because that's what you're talking to. You're really talking to a child's consciousness that's trapped in you, that hasn't grown up with the rest of you. If you need help, there are a few things. There's an inner child meditation on this channel that could be helpful. There's also an ascension meditation. It not only helps you connect more with your ascension process that we're all going through right now, but it helps you connect with those parts of you that are not ready to ascend because they're still stuck in some kind of psychological, negative, emotional crisis. So it helps you reconnect with that part of you so that can ascend with the rest of you. I also highly recommend the book I just had published because it not only teaches you everything I just talked about in more depth and detail, but you really get to understand human consciousness, how you got to be the way you are, why the self-help industry has failed you, why a lot of these modalities do not go deep enough to help you. But also it helps you understand how to write letters from this part of you that's trapped. You're not writing them from your adult self because your adult self knows that you're okay. Your adult self knows that you're safe. It's that other part of you that's trapped that doesn't know these things. So when you get into that trance, you're bringing up that part of you and you're giving that part of you a voice. And that's why the book is called The Voiceless Soul, and it's available on Amazon. And what you do is when you read the book, as you're reading through it, you're connecting with your own inner child as you're connecting to the voice of the child in the book. And then you're asked to start writing down in that book in the back pages what came up for you, what you're feeling. And toward the end of the book, it teaches you how to write the letters. The letters are written from listening to the child part and letting that child part or that teenager part that's trapped in an emotional crisis express itself, but also to bring in the wise adult self to close out the letter with some deeper understanding about how this other part of you did get trapped and how this other part of you now understands that we're all stuck in some kind of unworthiness trap because somewhere in our life we questioned our own value. So that's an option too. It's so far, I've been hearing great feedback and it's been helping a lot of people. Or you can obviously go to my YouTube channel here and get those meditations. Any of these things can be helpful because all of these things are taking you into an altered state of consciousness. In the book itself, it teaches you the steps, how to get into that altered state, and it teaches you how you need to write the letters, how to bring in your wise adult self. But it also teaches you a lot about why we ended up the way we did and why none of this has been working and how important it is to give that voiceless part of you a voice, because it's that part of you that never voiced these concerns or cleared up the confusion is what keeps that part of you in the suffering. So those are some ideas, or you could seek out a practitioner that can help you work with age regression parts therapy, deep shadow work, inner child healing, because this is what's really going to pull you out of that trap. So if you've tried everything and it's not working, it's because you're still bringing it in through the analytical mind, through some kind of ego protection, because it's still protecting those wounded parts. Yes, those wounded parts are delicate and sensitive, but they can't be ignored. They really do need your attention. Okay, so I hope this was helpful, and I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you again. Be well, many blessings.